The tiny human colony sat at the far edge of the galaxy, so far away that most star maps did not even bother to show its name. It was small, quiet, and easy to forget. A few metal domes, old stations, and long solar lines were all it had. To the great empires of the galaxy, this place was nothing more than dust and silence. The people living there knew this very well. They knew the galaxy did not care about them. They were not powerful, not rich, and not famous. Their ships were old, their tools were reused many times, and their lives were hard. Every day was about survival. Food, air, power, and safety were always on their minds. Yet the humans stayed. They stayed because humans had always lived like this. When things were hard, they adapted. When they were ignored, they learned. When they were weak, they planned. The colony was built on a dead rock orbiting a dim star. Long ago, humans had come here with hope, but most of that hope was lost over time. Many left. Only a few thousand remained. Those who stayed were not heroes or soldiers. They were workers, engineers, teachers, and families. People who refused to quit. Far across the galaxy, massive alien empires fought wars, signed treaties, and ruled star systems. They never looked toward the edge. They never looked at the tiny human colony. To them, humans were slow, divided, and not worth fear. That belief would soon become the galaxy's greatest mistake. One quiet cycle, while the colony rested under artificial lights, a deep space sensor detected something strange. It was weak at first, almost hidden by cosmic noise. A signal. Old. Broken. Repeating. At first, the system ignored it. Then it came again. And again. The signal did not match any known language or pattern. It was not a call for help, and not a threat. It felt like a whisper from the dark, calling to anyone patient enough to listen. The colony's small command council gathered. They were tired people, used to bad news. They expected another system failure or mining problem. But when the signal was shown on the screen, the room fell silent. The signal came from a region marked as empty. A place no ship visited. A place known only for ancient battles long forgotten by the galaxy. Most empires would have ignored it. They had bigger problems and greater goals. A weak signal from nowhere meant nothing to them. But humans were different. They asked a simple question. What if this matters? A small exploration ship was prepared. It was not new or fast. Its hull carried scars from past missions. The crew was small, chosen not for rank, but for skill and calm thinking. As the ship left the colony, no grand speech was made. No one cheered. Humans had learned not to celebrate too early. Days passed. Then weeks. The signal grew stronger. The crew realized something strange. The signal was not random. It was controlled. Someone, or something, had designed it to last for a very long time. When the ship finally reached the source, they found it. An ancient structure, drifting in space. It was massive, dark, and silent. Its design did not match any known alien race. Parts of it looked destroyed, as if it had survived a terrible war. Other parts still held faint energy. The crew did not rush in. Humans rarely rushed when fear was involved. They studied, scanned, and observed. What they found changed everything. The structure was older than most empires. Its technology was advanced, but not aggressive. It was not a weapon. It was something else. A system. A network. A kind of control node left behind after a war that erased itself from history. The crew sent a message back to the colony. The message was simple. We found something big. Very big. Back at the colony, leaders listened in silence. They understood one thing immediately. If the great empires learned about this structure, they would take it. The colony would be crushed without effort. So the humans made another quiet choice. They told no one. For months, the colony worked in secret. Data flowed. Minds worked. Humans did not try to copy the technology. They tried to understand it. Piece by piece. Layer by layer. No sudden power. No instant victory. only learning. Meanwhile, far away, alien empires continued their games. They fought over borders. They laughed at humans. Some even spoke of removing the last human colonies someday, just to clean the maps. They had no idea that a forgotten corner of the galaxy was changing. The tiny colony did not grow louder. It grew smarter. The people still lived simple lives. Children still went to class. Engineers still fixed old machines. But behind the calm surface, humanity was waking up something ancient. And the galaxy slept. By the time anyone noticed the signal was gone, it was already too late. The signal disappeared from every scanner in the galaxy. To most empires, it meant nothing. Signals vanished all the time. Space was noisy, broken, and full of old echoes. No one asked questions. But the tiny human colony noticed something else. The silence. Silence where something had been calling for centuries. The humans understood one thing very clearly. If the signal was gone, someone would eventually come looking for it. Not today. Not tomorrow. But someday. So the colony prepared. Not with fleets. Not with weapons. With patience. The ancient structure did not respond like normal technology. It did not open doors or share secrets easily. It reacted slowly, as if testing those who touched it. Humans did not force it. They watched how it behaved. They waited. They learned its patterns. Weeks turned into months. Small changes began inside the colony. Power systems became more efficient. Communication delays reduced without new hardware. Navigation calculations improved using less data. Nothing dramatic. Nothing visible from outside. But humans noticed. The ancient system was not giving answers. It was teaching a way of thinking. Across the stars, an alien scouting guild picked up strange readings. Minor energy shifts. Tiny distortions. Barely worth a report. The source pointed toward the edge of the galaxy. Toward human space. The scout ship sent was small and fast. Its crew did not expect danger. Humans were not dangerous. Humans avoided conflict. Humans were predictable. That belief made them careless. The scout entered the system quietly. It scanned the human colony from a distance. Old stations. Weak defenses. No fleets. No signs of growth. The scout captain relaxed. Then the ship's systems glitched. Just for a moment. Navigation corrected itself. Power stabilized. The crew laughed it off. Space was strange like that. They never noticed the human satellites watching them. The colony had not fired a single weapon. It had not blocked the ship. It had simply observed. Every signal. Every movement. Every decision. Humans learned faster than the scout could imagine. The scout left, filing a simple report. Human colony unchanged. No threat. The report was archived and forgotten. Back at the colony, the council listened to the data playback. They did not smile. They did not celebrate. They expected this. Humans had learned long ago that survival was not about being strong. It was about being ready before anyone knew you were strong. The ancient structure revealed another layer. Not a weapon. Not a shield. A warning. Long ago, many races had risen fast. Too fast. They had taken power before they understood responsibility. The galaxy punished them for it. Wars followed. Civilizations burned. History erased itself to hide the shame. The system was built by survivors. It was meant to guide, not rule. Humans understood something the builders hoped for. Power without control destroyed everything. Humans had seen this lesson on their own world, many times. So they did not rush. They adjusted their society slowly. Decision systems became smarter. Resources were shared better. Conflicts inside the colony reduced, not because people changed, but because systems helped them think ahead. The colony did not look stronger. It looked calmer. That calm scared the ancient system. Then it accepted them. Far away, tensions rose among the empires. Old alliances broke. New wars began. Fleets gathered. Trade routes burned. Everyone focused on each other. No one watched the edge. Until one empire noticed something strange. Human trade ships were arriving earlier than expected. Their routes were cleaner. Their losses dropped to almost zero. Their predictions were too accurate. It was subtle. Easy to ignore. But one alien analyst paused. Humans were not lucky. They were prepared. The analyst sent a quiet message to a superior. Humans are changing. The message was delayed. Then buried. Then forgotten. Meanwhile, the human colony reached a choice point. The ancient system opened a deeper access layer. It was dangerous. Once opened, there was no going back. The council voted. Not in excitement. Not in fear. In understanding. They opened it. Nothing exploded. No great power surged. Instead, they saw the galaxy as it truly was. Patterns of rise and fall. Mistakes repeated again and again by different races. The same pride. The same rush. The same collapse. Humans recognized themselves in those failures. And chose differently. They did not plan to rule the galaxy. They planned to stop it from destroying itself. The ancient system did not resist. It waited for someone like them. And somewhere in the galaxy, forces were already moving toward the edge, unaware that the smallest colony they ignored had just crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. The quiet phase was ending. The galaxy began to feel smaller to the humans, not because it changed, but because they finally understood it. The ancient system did not give orders or commands. It showed outcomes. It showed what happened when fear ruled decisions, and what happened when patience guided them. The colony changed quietly. No flags were raised. No speeches were made. From the outside, nothing looked different. Inside, everything was different. Human ships started flying safer paths through unstable space. Not faster, not stronger, just smarter. Their cargo losses dropped again. Their crews returned home every time. Other traders noticed this and grew uneasy. Luck could not explain it anymore. An alien trade union demanded answers. Humans replied with simple words and honest faces. They shared small improvements, nothing that looked dangerous. The union accepted this and moved on. That was the human way. Give enough truth to calm fear, but never enough to invite control. Soon, a border war broke out between two major empires. Fleets clashed. Systems burned. Refugees filled space lanes. Smaller worlds suffered the most. Human space lay close to the chaos. Alien leaders expected humans to panic or flee. They did neither. Instead, human stations became shelters. Not loudly announced, not advertised. Ships in danger found guidance signals leading them safely through storms and war zones. No weapons were used. No sides were chosen. Lives were saved. This confused the galaxy. Why would a weak colony help without asking for power in return? Some alien captains began to trust human routes more than their own maps. Word spread quietly. Humans were reliable. That scared the wrong people. A powerful empire sent a diplomatic fleet to the edge. This time, not scouts. War-ready ships, masked as peace envoys. Their goal was simple. Find out what humans were hiding. The fleet entered human space. Nothing happened. No alarms. No warnings. No defenses activated. The Empire's leaders smiled. This was what weakness looked like. They were wrong. The human colony welcomed them calmly. Talks began. Data was shared, carefully chosen. The Empire demanded access to human systems. Humans refused. Politely. Firmly. The fleet commander felt insulted. No one refused them. Not a tiny colony. He gave a silent order. The fleet powered weapons. And nothing worked. Not because humans blocked them. Because the systems could not find targets. Sensors showed empty space where stations existed. Power readings looped in false patterns. Navigation drifted without reason. The commander panicked. Humans did not smile. They explained, slowly, that firing weapons here would be dangerous for everyone. Space in this region was fragile. A mistake could destroy ships, stations, and nearby systems. They offered safe passage out. The fleet left. No shots fired. No battle recorded. The Empire reported the event as a system malfunction. Admitting fear was worse than defeat. Other empires listened. They compared notes. Too many strange stories pointed toward the same place. The Edge. The tiny human colony. At the same time, the ancient system revealed its final lesson to the humans. Power always attracted challenge. Hiding forever was impossible. The question was not if they would be tested, but how. Humans prepared, not for war, but for pressure. They strengthened minds, not weapons. Leaders trained to think in long timelines. Citizens learned to question fast answers. Children were taught history, not glory. The colony became something rare. Stable. When the next galactic crisis arrived, it did not start with humans. It started with fear spreading faster than fleets. Trade collapsed. Alliances failed. Panic ruled decisions. In that chaos, someone asked a simple question. Who still knows what they are doing? The answer came from the Edge. From a colony once ignored. Humans did not announce themselves. They simply acted. Routes reopened. Conflicts slowed. Decisions became clearer around them. The galaxy began to lean, slowly, without realizing it, toward humanity. And somewhere deep inside the ancient system, a final condition was met. The test was never about strength. It was about restraint. The system unlocked something new. And the galaxy was about to feel the difference. The galaxy did not change all at once. It shifted slowly, like a giant waking from sleep. Old powers still believed they were in control, but their decisions no longer shaped the future the way they used to. They did not understand why. Human space became a place ships passed through more often. Not because it was rich or powerful, but because it was safe. Routes near human systems stayed open while others failed. Signals stayed clear while others broke down. Chaos avoided the Edge, as if space itself behaved better there. This made the great empires uneasy. A council of dominant races finally spoke the word out loud. Humans. Not as a joke. Not as an insult. As a concern. They reviewed old records. Weak fleets. Slow growth. Internal conflict. The data did not match reality anymore. Something was missing. So they chose force. A coalition fleet was formed, larger than anything sent before. Not to attack, they claimed, but to secure stability. Everyone knew what that meant. Control first. Questions later. The fleet moved toward the Edge. Humans knew days before it arrived. Not because of spies, but because patterns changed. Trade slowed. Fear increased. The ancient system showed possible futures, branching like rivers. Most ended badly. Humans chose the narrow path. When the fleet entered human space, they were not met by weapons. They were met by silence and guidance signals, calmly leading them to safe positions. The fleet commanders argued. This was not how fear behaved. They demanded submission. Humans answered with an invitation. Talk. The coalition leaders laughed at this. Talk was for equals. Humans were not equals. They advanced. Space responded. Not with explosions. With errors. Jump points failed to lock. Power grids overloaded without damage. Command chains broke as messages arrived out of order. No system was attacked directly. Nothing could be blamed. The fleet slowed. Confusion spread. Human stations remained visible now. Calm. Still. Open. No shields raised. Finally, a coalition representative agreed to meet. The meeting took place in open space, neutral ground. No guards. No threats. Just words. The human speaker did not boast, did not threaten, did not beg. He explained one thing. The galaxy was unstable because it rewarded speed over wisdom, power over balance, victory over survival. Humans had made the same mistakes once. They learned the cost. The coalition leader asked the real question. What do you want? The answer surprised them. Nothing you own, the human said. Only a future that still exists. The leader dismissed this as weakness. Then the ancient system did something new. It shared a projection. Not of war. Of consequence. Empires rising too fast. Resource collapse. Chain wars. Extinction events. All leading to silence. Again and again. The coalition saw themselves at the center of most endings. The data was impossible to deny. Humans had not built weapons to defeat them. They had built systems to prevent them. The meeting ended without agreement. The fleet withdrew slowly, not because it was defeated, but because its leaders were no longer sure of themselves. That doubt spread faster than fear. Back home, the coalition fractured. Some leaders called humans manipulators. Others called them guardians. Trust broke. Authority weakened. Humanity did not step in. They waited. That waiting changed everything. Smaller worlds began copying human methods. Calm leadership. Long planning. Shared survival. Not because humans ordered them to, but because it worked. The galaxy began to stabilize around human ideas, without humans ruling anything. That was when the ancient system issued its final warning. Stability always attracted envy. A hidden power, older than the current empires, noticed the shift. A force that thrived on collapse. It had slept while chaos ruled. Now order was returning. And it did not like that. Deep in dark space, something ancient turned its attention toward the edge. Toward the tiny human colony. The real test was coming. Not of intelligence, but of endurance. The hidden power did not arrive with fleets or warnings. It arrived with absence. Stars dimmed near its path. Signals failed without reason. Entire regions of space went silent, as if they had never existed. The galaxy panicked. Empires that once fought each other now screamed into the void, searching for answers. Weapons were prepared, alliances rushed, and fear ruled every decision. Humans did not panic. They had already seen this future. The ancient system showed the truth. This force was not an empire. It was not a race. It was a cycle. A destroyer that fed on chaos and fear. Every time the galaxy collapsed into disorder, it grew stronger. Every war had helped it sleep well. But now, something was different. The galaxy was no longer breaking apart. It was holding together. And that made the destroyer weak. It moved toward the edge, toward the source of balance. Toward the tiny human colony. Alien leaders demanded humans act. Some begged. Some threatened. Humans answered all of them the same way. Stay calm. Stay together. As the dark presence entered human space, nothing fired. No shields rose. No fleets gathered. Human stations remained open, light steady, system stable. The destroyer reached out. And found no fear. It tried to break communication. Humans switched to simpler systems. It tried to isolate worlds. Humans rerouted support. Every move it made was expected. Not predicted. Understood. The ancient system activated fully, not as a weapon, but as a mirror. It reflected the destroyer's own pattern back at it. Without chaos to feed on, without panic to grow, the force began to fade. Slowly. Painfully. Across the galaxy, leaders watched in disbelief. The threat was not defeated by strength. It was starved by unity. The destroyer vanished, leaving nothing behind. No explosion. No victory cry. Just quiet. The galaxy survived. Afterward, many asked humans to lead. To rule. To command fleets and laws. Humans refused. They dismantled the ancient system piece by piece, locking it away so no one could misuse it. They returned to their small colony, still at the edge, still quiet. The galaxy changed on its own. Empires slowed their expansion. Wars became rare. Survival became shared. Not because humans forced it, but because they showed it was possible. History would remember the moment everything changed. Not when a great fleet fell. Not when a throne was taken. But when a tiny human colony, once ignored and underestimated, chose patience over power, restraint over control, and wisdom over fear. The galaxy had looked at humanity and seen weakness. That mistake reshaped its fate forever.